All right, I'll call the meeting to order. Are we properly posted?
The meeting was noticed according to law.
Roll call.
President Johnson.
Here.
Trustee Harding.
Here.
Commissioner Hayes.
Here.
Commissioner Lederhouse.
Here.
Commissioner Morath.
Here.
Commissioner Olson.
Should have said here in exile. All right, we'll do citizen participation per Village Resolution 2017-01. Anyone wishing to address the village board during citizen participation will be allowed 5 minutes. Your subject must specifically relate to matters under the jurisdiction of the village board. Whether on the agenda or not, the village board should not engage in a discussion regarding comments. I should say Plan Commission. Plan Commission should not engage in a discussion regarding comments because it's not part of the publicly noticed agenda. Upon conclusion of the citizen participation segment, members of the audience are not allowed further comment unless they're participating in a public hearing or specifically allowed by a majority vote of the Plan Commission due to involvement in an agenda item. Going once, going twice. All right, I'll close citizen participation. Consent agenda. Why am I on the wrong, I'm reading, sorry. That is why it says, I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong thing. See, I'm not feeling well. I got it. Just give me a second. Thank you. Let's try that again. I was like, why are we doing consent agenda? All right. Approval of minutes from November 10th, since we did not have a December meeting.
I motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
All right, a motion and a second. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, ordinances and code amendments. Item 1, conditional use for outdoor storage and wholesaling related to the construction of a new industrial building for property located in the northeast corner of Corporate Circle and Executive Drive bearing tax parcel number RA 47040001, MFT East Troy LLC applicant, Frederick D. Carlson, I Design Agent, application 2025-28. So I will open the public hearing. Oren, do you want to walk us through this application?
Happy to. So we will get into more detail about the site plan review portion of this project, but as part of the proposed development of a new corporate headquarters for Modern Fence Technologies, they do have a component of outdoor storage associated with it. There is an approximately 5,950 square foot area of paved outdoor storage that they intend to screen with a 6-foot vinyl fence. This is on the east elevation of the building, and so it will mostly be behind the building and screened from view from the general public. In response to the review comments, I did have a conversation with the petitioner's consultant, Fred Carlson, and they do intend to have a gas tank similar to what they have at their existing facility that they would like to put on the south side of the building. So that would be additional outdoor storage that wasn't shown on the initial site plan that was in the packet for the Plan Commission. I've got at your places from Mr. Carlson this evening an updated plan set that shows the location of that additional area on the south side of the building. So the updated site plan shows it near the driveway along Corporate Circle leading to the building. And then it's on the elevations as well. You can take this one. There's also a diagram that kind of shows an elevation of the fencing that's proposed. So thanks. The gas tank is needed for their operations. Again, it's something that they currently have. If you looked at FOTH's staff review comments, actually have an image in there from the existing building under comment 14 that shows what that existing tank looks like. And there's a screen wall extending from the building around that area on the existing development. The petitioner has proposed on the plans 16-foot vinyl fence section around that proposed outdoor storage area. That's what's indicated on the diagram, which would be the second sheet in what you've got handed out to you this evening, which is the site plan. So up at the top, you have the tank enclosure diagram that shows 16-foot vinyl fence sections. There's a 7-foot tank and a 4-foot tank. Fred, would those both go in right away, or is that a phased?
We actually have two now.
Okay,
One is shorter, so it's
Yep.
6 foot, so you can't see it.
right.
And the other one, because of the patch, we have to run.
Okay,
Now, there's a blow up on, what we've got up there on the top of that sheet. The right side shows the enclosure.
yep, yep,
And then when we put the addition on to the metal fabricating, there will be a wall there, so coming eastbound, you won't ever see it. And if the addition's on the molding also, you're only gonna see it when you're right in front of the area.
yeah, if you look at the proposed future expansions, eventually this will be in between two portions of the building. But currently, it will stick out a bit from the side of the building for the current portion.
Nice sized trees in there and help screen it.
So the question for the Plan Commission is, are you comfortable with this area, at this portion of the building? In my conversation with Fred, I said, ideally it would go back in the other area, but it's needed for the operations in that portion of the building. And they can't pipe all the way over to where they need this for their production. And so that's where it's going to end up needing to go. My preference as far as a material would be, either a screen wall that matches the building, similar to their existing location, or something, so that would be something similar to the tip-up panels, I guess, something precast that matched, so that you don't really see it, but Plan Commission will have to make a call as to what your comfort level is for the screening of that.
Partial.
So maybe I'm just not seeing it, but where is it on this view here? Where is it?
It's
Yeah,
there,
okay, but where is it here?
right there,
Oh, it's right here.
yeah.
So it's regular gasoline, is it diesel, is it natural gas, what is it?
It's, get the processes to function, and that's basically the beginning of it right there. The door on that south side goes into an inside loading area that's serviced by an overhead crane, and all the stainless steel will come in there. So right now, it's about once a month, we get a truck in, pulls inside, closes the door, takes a crane, pulls the steel off, and he pulls out and he's gone. So it doesn't get left open or used much at all, that door, but we had to have it there. It goes from there, it goes to the stamping, and it goes to the brakes, depending upon what part it is, deburring, and then it goes to a paint process, which right now we don't have our own paint process in the facility, so we'll have that now, our own in-house finishing. And from there, it goes to assembly and then packaging, and then out to all those happy customers. It's powder coat, yeah.
So forgive me if this is a dumb question or not, but, so with those tanks, being attached to the buildings like that, is there any explosion possibilities, or do you have to do something special in that area for safety reasons?
They can't be inside the building, but they can be stored outside alongside the building.
Is there a chance of explosion, just out of curiosity? I'm not sure.
Is it due
Well,
to pressure, or is it?
The O2, I would think, isn't it? Yeah,
Nitrogen, no.
no,
And oxygen is a fuel
yeah.
to a fire, but I don't think it would explode.
Is it NOx? Is it nitrous oxide? Or is it,
Nitrogen.
so you have an N2 and an O2 tank?
You had to say it one more time.
You have an N2,
Yeah, nitrogen.
and then you have an O2.
Oxygen, a separate one.
So it's pure O2?
Separate tank.
Okay, all right.
And it's liquid. It's not,
Okay, it's liquid, and so it's not under pressure?
it's like 400 PSI.
Okay.
Liquid, and then it becomes a gas.
Yeah, okay. Other questions for the applicant? Warren, anything else in your report?
Not specifically as it pertains to the outdoor storage component of this project. I mean, there's some other recommendations in both staff review for the site plan that I'll want to go over in more detail regarding the south elevation, but yeah, as far as the outdoor storage, it would need to be fully screened. They are proposing that. I do have a condition on the site plan regarding an updated landscape plan, which Fred and I have discussed, and so if the plan commission is comfortable with it, there would be an administrative review and approval of that, so I would make sure that, you know, this area around this portion of the southern elevation would have sufficient screening with landscaping as well. And the draft conditional use order is in the packet along with the public hearing notice. So we were very broad or general, if you will, in our public hearing notice. So the fact that this wasn't included in the initial plan set is okay by me if it's okay with the plan commission to allow them to move forward at this time. So I think it really comes down to, are you comfortable with the material that's proposed for the screening and the location, given the context of what we've heard from the petitioner and the updated submittal materials?
I'm fine with it.
I think it's fine.
It's like 100 feet off the road. It's quite a ways back there.
Is there a motion?
You know,
I guess, if there's no other public comment, since we are in a public hearing. All right, I'll close the public hearing then. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to recommend to the village board approval of the conditional use request for outdoor storage and wholesaling related to an approximately 53,317 square foot industrial building located at the northeast corner of Corporate Circle and Executive Drive for MFT East Troy LLC for the property located at Corporate Circle and Executive Drive, subject to the following conditions 1 through 5.
I'll second that.
All right, questions or discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, on to miscellaneous business, site plan and architectural review for approximately 53,317 square foot new industrial building for light industrial uses, including office, metal fabrication, mold shop, and manufacturing warehouse associated with the production of hardware for vinyl fencing on property located at the northeast corner of Corporate Circle and Executive Drive, bearing tax parcel RA 470400001, MFT East Troy LLC. Applicant Frederick D. Carlson, iDesign, agent, application 2025-27. So this is discussion and action by the Plan Commission. This is the next piece that you wanted to go over, Warren.
Thank you. The, again, vacant lot currently in the business park is proposed to be developed into a 53,317 approximately square foot a new industrial building that will be the headquarters for Modern Fence Technologies, currently located down the block in their existing building on Corporate Circle. So this is going to have its offices towards the front of the building, which faces the cul-de-sac of Executive Drive. Going to have a metal fabrication shop, mold shop. Those are on the south side of the building. And so the tanks that we were discussing would be adjacent to the metal fabrication shop. And there's an overhead door proposed with a drive on that south elevation that would also serve that area. As you heard Fred describe, there's a planned overhead crane for that portion of the building, so they can just drive in with their, raw product and, deliver that to where they need it in the building with the crane. The mold shop will just have a man door access to the outside, is that correct?
Right, yes.
And the, both of those have potential future expansions that are shown on the plan set. The rear of the building, the east elevation, has a proposed couple loading docks and then the outdoor storage area. And the north side of the building also has potential for future expansion. So there's approximately 44,000 square feet of future expansion space in 3 different phases, if you will, or 3 different areas of the building where they could have expansions. There's about 36 off-street parking spaces that are proposed. Again, there's, per the petitioner, about 20 employees currently. That might increase to about 30. And so there's ample parking as proposed. The original plan was for overhead doors on the north and south elevations as well. There was going to be one for the metal fabrication component of the business, one for the mold shop, and then one on the north end. Fred, are you keeping the one on the north? Or is that?
I'd like to keep that because when
Okay.
we add on, I've got to get traffic through and I've got to reinforce and build a big frame around that opening if I don't do it now.
So that'll become the
So
internal.
when we add on, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of down in a hole from the cul-de-sac. It's
Yeah, I don't
not
have
much of a view.
I don't have a concern about the proposed overhead door on the north elevation. So if you, in your packets, if you look at the building elevations, you'll get an idea of how that might look. I think the very last page of the original plan set had building elevations of the north that showed where that overhead door would be. And then there's also one of the south elevation that shows how that will look, except they're now proposing to just have one overhead door on the south elevation instead of the 2. Fred's got a nice
There's the rendering.
rendering of the entrance.
This is kind of,
There you go, that shows the south. Yep.
this is corporate, this is executive. So we tried to shove like the storage and the trucking and everything in the back of the lot furthest away from the public view to try to control it.
So there'll be a 10 by 20 dumpster enclosure in the back as well.
I'm sorry?
There'll be a 10 by 20 dumpster enclosure in the back, which you can kind of see
Yeah,
there.
we're showing it. We didn't have the size on the storage yet.
The tanks are gonna be, those tanks will be right in the front there by that overhead door then?
Right here, yeah. But now we've added windows across here.
Yep.
So that's just the first initial phase, right? That's not the future expansion,
Yeah.
future plan? Yeah.
Future expansion to the metal fabrication here, future expansion here for the injection molding, and then this would be warehouse, and if we needed more assembly, that addition would be that way. That way the docks stay forever, you don't have to tear them up and relocate them or anything. So,
So you're going to have parking in front and in back?
yeah, we've got, this is a little premature, we got 10 future here, and I think we had 10 future over here if we needed it. Right now, we're trying, the employee entrance will probably be right here, and customer entrance would be here. We've got a nice canopy, at the office area. And then this is their lunchroom, break room area that's got a nice big canopy and a covered patio. So it should, this corner will stay the way it is when it's built. So we're trying to get, because 6 acres is a good sized lot, we're trying to get a lot of large plantings in that'll stay there and grow and mature and be effective. So we're working on mid-sized deciduous right now.
So as far as the staff review, under the architecture, there's a couple of things I wanted to point out. The proposed main construction material are these precast tip-up concrete panels. There's a aggregate finish on them. So the Plan Commission should determine whether those proposed, exposed aggregate precast panels are decorative and appropriate given the context of the site. As originally proposed, I did not think that they met the village's intent, but Fred has added some elements to the building. If you look at the fourth page of your materials that were handed out tonight that show revised elevations, he's added windows along the south elevation, and we've discussed enhancing the landscaping along that elevation as well.
And we added some on the east.
Added some on the east, so now there's more than just plain wall along that portion, which is going to be helpful. Since that is along the street and visible from the public, I had asked for those enhancements, so there's,
It's the same product as we used on Accurate Housing, on the original and the addition.
so essentially, condition 6 in Foth staff review addressed that as far as the architectural, submitting revised architectural elevations, which essentially Fred has done. Condition 7 addresses a revised landscape plan, which is being worked on. And I've asked for cut sheets of the proposed lighting for the exterior of the building to make sure that those are full cutoff lights. That would be condition 7 in Foth staff review. Or I'm sorry, condition 8. And then just that they get their conditional use approval, which is condition 4, so that'll have to go to the board for their next meeting for them to consider and approve. And then as far as the signage, there's some wall signage shown on the front of the building, and the sign approval will be subject to its own sign application
Yeah,
in a different
we'll do that
process,
separate.
which you guys are
Right.
aware of. And then that pretty much does it for Foth's staff review as far as the comments that I have in there. There were staff comments from the village engineer and Foth that were passed along. The petitioner has provided a response to those this afternoon. And as far as the engineering, the comments were mainly related to grading and drainage.
Yeah, discharge. I built the original modern fence, first building in the park. Then we built the 30,000 square foot behind it, and we did the dental clinic and did Accurate, added on to it. So I'm real familiar with this park and the properties. And one of the comments the Lynch guy said was, yeah, well, everything's designed to go into the detention pond that's way on the east end of Accurate. Well, it really isn't enough capacity. Now, that's a 58-acre lot, and they've got maybe 10 acres of it that they utilize that's not in floodplain. But that great big horseshoe all the way around that outside storage is all floodplain area. And when they get big rain, that pond's up, it's filled. So what our thought was, run it down and off of our northeast corner to the wetlands, and then let it work its way around and infiltrate before it gets to the pond.
I guess my question to that is that, I don't want to say legal, but is that, I'll just use the word legal, because I know wetlands, they like to, protect them as much as they can, so.
Right.
Is that feasible, what you're saying?
That's how they're created. What it does is, instead of putting the pipe and running it down there quick, we're letting it run across all the grass, all the way across the back of the property. I mean, it's a long ways from our back area here down to where Accurate Housing is at. So what we're trying to do is get it across that grass, that'll clean it up, and it'll slow it down, and it'll absorb water. So the engineer followed my advice. If we're wrong, okay, blame me, but I think it's a better solution long-term for the park, because at least we've got the opportunity to, and we could put some detention ponds in there if we really are considered about, but I got a pretty sharp engineer on this, and I think he knows his stuff, so
So
I think it'll be an improvement, frankly, for the park.
The comments from Lynch were that there's a storm sewer pipe stubbed to the property near the driveway in Corporate Circle. So this would be the driveway going to the back of the building. And what he's saying is that the proposed storm sewer and swale being directed towards the neighboring property have a likelihood of causing potential drainage and flooding issues over on someone else's property. And so it's not that there isn't the natural area there, or that isn't the natural drainage pattern currently.
That is the
It-
natural
it's-
drainage pattern.
It's that adding impervious surface to the extent that you are,
Right.
and funneling it all to that one location could create future issues. And so I don't think the village can approve that without that property owner's permission. I don't think you can
Yeah.
discharge onto your neighbor's
Yeah.
property in that fashion. So the wetland is partially on your property, the northern wetland,
Right.
and then it is partially on the neighbor's property. And so if you're discharging into part of it, it's going to carry through. The other wetland is completely on the neighbor's property. And so the recommendation is, again, that the storm sewer in Corporate Circle be connected to directly from this parcel, and that he believes there should be some sizing calculations shown for that. He didn't mention any concern with the sizing of the regional pond for the
Yeah.
park, but I would imagine that would have to be looked at.
Kevin's calling them to discuss it. We discussed it, and I said,
Okay, so
if
then.
that's what we got to do, that's what we'll do, but
There's a couple other suggestions and recommendations in here, but that was the big one that I just wanted to raise with the group.
Yeah.
There's some unused water service, lateral and sanitary lateral that will need to be abandoned and capped as well. I guess because of the size of the parcel, they probably didn't know if that was going to end up being chunked up.
Right,
Or
yeah.
used as one large lot,
Yeah,
and so.
right.
There's likely one extra than
Right.
what you need in each
yeah,
instance.
so we'll pull those out, take them back to the mains and cap them.
Okay.
Yep.
So I just wanted to reiterate those points from Lynch. And I don't think there's anything else that I needed to raise from my own review comments. I think we talked about all the points I wanted to hit.
Warren, any questions or concerns from the fire chief?
The fire chief originally just wanted to see turning movements for the site, which Mr. Carlson has provided and is included in your packet. And after reviewing that, did not have any further comments. We did talk about the offset to the drive aisles around the building. If those future additions go in place, is the drive aisle going to be too close to the building at that point? And he said as long as all of the firewall ratings are being met and all the state standards, that it should be fine. So fire chief seemed to be comfortable with the overall proposed layout.
Other questions or comments? I think, yeah, I share the same concern. I mean, we have that storm sewer there. I don't want to have to drag another property owner into that. So I think that's probably something we're going to have to insist on.
The last thing I want to mention is that this, we're going to talk about this later as well, but this is still in the business park. There are still protective covenants for the park. The village is essentially taking over the park. And so there will be this will still be subject to some type of review of those covenants as they exist currently. The condition that I have in the staff review is one of our boilerplate conditions that basically says that, heads up, you'll be subject to those. Similar to other projects that you built in the park. And so, but that's outside of this body's purview. That is another body's architectural review board's review authority. And so the condition in here just says that you'll have to abide by those as well.
And that's me and Scott, and who was the third person? You? Okay. You got 2 of the 3 members of that committee sitting in this room, so.
Okay.
All right. Is there a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the site plan of operations request for MFT East Troy LLC for the property located at northeast corner of Corporate Circle and Executive Drive, subject to the following conditions 1 through 26.
I will second it.
All right, questions or discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Fred. Thanks for
Thank you.
bringing, this
Thank
was
you
very
very much.
helpful. Thank you.
It's a very nice-looking building.
Yeah, we're glad to have you build another one for us in that park. Yeah, thank you very much.
It's been a little bit in the last 20 years.
Well, we're glad to have you. All right, item 2 under miscellaneous business, discussion related to revising the requirements for conditional use permit notifications. Orin?
We had originally intended to have this item on for our December meeting, but we didn't have any other items. And so we didn't want to drag you in just to talk about this housekeeping issue, which is essentially what this is. So this is something that had come up during the regular course of business as Danette and I were just working through other, conditional use applications that had come in. And the issue is just that there's an inconsistency between types of applications for how these notices are happening. And so the goal is to go in and make a tweak to this specific section regarding the conditional use standards so that it's consistent with the other ways that we're handling public hearing notices for other similar types of applications. So for our, zoning map amendments, as an example, when we look at what's the clerk's responsibility as far as notices, we want that to be consistent across all 3 applications. And the language for the conditional use process didn't have the similar direction or instruction that the other 2 processes had. And so we want to try to achieve that consistency across all 3 of them. And so I basically have everything all teed up. The direction that we'd be looking for is to bring back an ordinance and have a public hearing to make that change if it's amenable to the Plan Commission.
Looks good to me. Are there questions or comments?
I do not.
All right, yeah, I'd say then for our February meeting, let's bring back ordinance changes and then we'll do all the notices and all that.
Okay.
All right. Then recommendations for future agenda items, extension of the mixed business/light industrial design overlay district to include the properties in the East Troy Business Park north of Honey Creek Road.
Yeah, when we are discussing the business park like we did this evening and that there are protective covenants for it, the village would much prefer to, rather than manage a business park, just have the village's overlay design standards that apply to the southern portion of the business park also apply here. The designs, there doesn't need, they don't see a need for there to be a duplicative process, especially since the village just took over that portion of the business park. So the village doesn't want to have to be in the land management business, and zoning is a much more efficient way to accomplish those same ends. And so the same standards that we looked at for our recent developments on South Executive Drive would apply to new development in the business park area. And there are standards for non-conforming there, and so there's a process that is spelled out in there that says that you can expand that overlay district. There has to be a minimum of 20 acres, so by adding land, that's not a problem. We will still have that, and we would just include the properties that are in the map, and FOTH would prepare a more formal rezoning exhibit. And so for that, we would also like to come forward with a proposed ordinance and have a public hearing and do that expansion, if you will, of that design overlay district. So that's the thought process for that.
Eileen, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is also necessary for us to get rid of all of that other red tape that we've inherited.
Yeah, I'm currently coordinating a meeting with the owners in the business park. I haven't heard back from all of them, so I'm trying to get that scheduled. I'll be calling a few of them tomorrow. So we are going to be meeting with them to talk about, and they already have gotten an email. And there was a preliminary phone call to acquire contact information for those that I didn't. So we're trying to communicate with them our desire to dissolve the Business Park Association. It's there's a lot of rules and regulations associated with having a separate non-stock corporation that you would have to run, and eventually the business owners will have to take that over and run it, and I think that the business owners are probably a little more worried about running their business than running an association. So yes, we would have to dissolve the association as well to get rid of the protective covenants. So that is in the works, but we did want to protect the architectural standards that were in place, and ours are very similar to what the Business Park Association required in the protective covenants.
So are you all okay with having Warren bring that back? Sure. All right. All right. Is that a February or a March thing?
I would plan to have that back for February.
All right, well then I would say the next meeting is February 9th, 2026, not 25, 2026 at 6:30, and it is needed, as we've just discussed. So I still have that problem too. So I will move that we adjourn. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Please turn off your mics.